Hey mate, before you enjoy today's episode, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about the free 14-day transformation that we are currently running inside of the Unbreakable Man team. Now, if you're a man on the Gold Coast who's serious about improving his physical and mental health, building his self-confidence, and you want to become a part of a team of motivated and like-minded men, then this is the best chance that you are going to get. So as part of the 14-day transformation, you're going to get a personalized meal plan and a recipe cookbook to help you get your diet under control. You're going to be training with myself and the Unbreakable Man team for 2 whole weeks, and I'll be there by your side, helping you overcome any of the challenges that you will face along the way. If that sounds good, then get in touch with me by emailing me at mitch@unbreakableman.com.au. You can find all of my contact details on the website, which is just www.unbreakableman.com.au. Or you can message me on social media. Instagram is unbreakableman_challenge, and Facebook is just Unbreakable Man. That sounds good to you? Hit me up. I hope to hear from you soon. Back to the episode. If this doesn't work out, it's not over. There's so many more opportunities out there for you, man. And some of them might be even better for you. Who knows? But it's definitely not the only option you have. Be aware of those options, guys. And don't get so hung up on the result. Hey mate, I'm Coach Mitch and welcome to the Unbreakable Man podcast. It's my goal to help you achieve excellent results in the area of your health and physical fitness, your career or business, your relationships, and in your own personal passions. This is going to be your one-stop shop if you are the kind of man who wants to achieve his fullest potential in life. And the only way to do that is by becoming unbreakable. What's up, brother? Coach Mitch here, and welcome to this week's episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. Now, in today's episode, what I wanted to speak to you guys about is confidence. I think it's one of the most important traits that definitely for men, but that anyone can have. And I would characterize confidence as a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. Like how vast are the limits that you place on yourself? A confident person, those limits are way out in the distance, or they have not even found them yet. And that, I think, is the ideal way to live our lives. Because ultimately, even though we might not like admitting it, I think if we're really truly honest with ourselves, the biggest thing that holds us back in any area of our life is ourselves. It's us. It's our actions. It's our thoughts. It's our fear about what might happen if we take a chance. And confident people, they either have learnt to subdue that fear, or they're lucky enough to never really have it in the first place. But I think that's the Goldilocks, that's the unicorn. That's like the 0.001% of people that just have it innately. I'm not like that. You're probably not like that. But what we can all do is learn how to become more like that. Is learn how to embody that way of thinking. So in today's episode, what I've done is I've broken this down into 5 core pillars. 5 things that I think if you master, the confidence that you feel in yourself is going to be 100 times greater than anything you felt up until this point. If you get these 5 things right. And a lot of this stuff is just about taking a second to actively think about the way that you currently approach things in your life. It's about noticing things more than anything else. You already have all the tools to be confident. You have the ability to move your body. You have a brain inside of your head. You have the ability to speak and communicate with other people. Those are all the tools you need. That's the ingredients for confidence. And now it's just about how do we use those tools as effectively as possible. So here's the list, guys. Number 1 on that list, I wouldn't say it's the most important, but it does show up in every single interaction that we have, and that's body language. Now, the reason why I put this one here, the reason why I wanted to say this one first is because this is kind of like the fake it till you make it pillar of the 5 pillars. Because when we think of confidence, when we think of a confident man, there's a certain look to confidence, right? There's a certain posture to confidence. There's a certain facial expression to confidence. There's a certain tone of voice to confidence. And when we adopt those forms of communication, when we adopt those postures, we adopt those tones of voice, we're already starting to demonstrate confidence simply by the way we hold ourselves, by the way we speak, act, by the way we gesture. That is communicating to those people in our lives that we're talking to that, hey, this is a confident person right here. Now, what would be an amazing thing for you to go away and do after this? Well, firstly, and hopefully you take this seriously. Like, actually stop and think about someone in your life who you believe moves confidently, even if it's only in one specific situation. And think about the way that they move. And think about how your results would change if you moved the same way in each of the places in your life that you would like to exude more confidence in. So I hope that you take this seriously. When I say body language is massive, it doesn't matter how good you are at something, because competence is another big part of confidence. We'll talk about that soon. However, if you are kind of hunchbacked, you're sort of closed up, you speak very softly and you don't really make eye contact, you're looking at the ground a lot, it doesn't matter how talented and capable you are, you're still not going to portray that sense of confidence. And that body language is going to betray you. So I hope that you see this as super fucking important. If you're a man who wants to be confident, and if you are a man who doesn't feel as confident as he would like to be, then you should want to be confident, because it's going to change your fucking life if you are as confident as you want to be. Everything is going to be different and better if you act more confidently and if you feel that sense of confidence. So I hope you take this seriously. And the best thing you could do would be to go away and watch some videos about confident body language and how you can start to adopt some of those moves and start to play around with them a little bit in your social interactions. And I take this seriously. And I know that might sound a little bit weird, because initially you're going to kind of be acting a little bit because those moves aren't coming naturally to you. You are consciously sprinkling them into your social interactions, and that will feel unnatural initially. But how else do you plan to start to move confidently if you currently don't? What's your plan? That one day it's just going to happen? I fucking bet you it won't. You're going to have to be consciously trying to make this happen for yourself so that you can feel this way in your life consistently. So even if it feels a little bit weird in the beginning and it feels a bit unnatural and you're still kind of getting the hang of it, that's part of the process, man. Go and do that, 100%. The last thing I wanted to say on this is, as you're thinking about it and you're thinking about, okay, I want to look confident, I want to act confident, I want to portray confidence in every movement that I make and the words that I say, take a second to think about an area of your life that you already feel really confident in. Maybe you're the big wig at work, you're a manager or a supervisor or something like that, and you lead a team of people and you fall into that leadership role really well and you do a great job of it, and they would think you're a confident person. However, perhaps in your dating life, you don't have that same confidence and it bugs you. What I would suggest doing, if that's you, and I think we all have our areas of confidence, take a second next time you're in that area of confidence in your life to consciously examine the way that you talk, the way that you move, the way that you act. And then I want you to contrast that next time you're in an area where you don't feel as confident in your life with the way that you talk and move and act in that area. Because you're the same guy in both of those scenarios, yet you act so differently. And your body language portrays the way that you're feeling in that moment as well. Isn't that fascinating? And I think we all, if we actually stop and consciously think about it, we all have an experience like that. Areas where we're super confident in, And then areas where we're not so much confident, where we're not so confident in, we're still the same bloke, but we move, talk, and act totally differently in those two areas. And all I'm suggesting to you right now is, what if you could move, talk, and act in that area of low confidence the same way that you move, talk, and act in that area of high confidence? And you had the same body language, posture, tone of voice. You already have the ability and you already practice it in certain areas of your life. And all I'm suggesting is that you carry that with you into this other area. And when you're in the area of low confidence, then try to remember, well, shit, how do I speak to my team? How do I lead my team so effectively, yet I'm struggling on this date that I'm on right now? And start to go, okay, cool, well, this is how I would speak in that situation. And this is how I would hold myself. So start to use some of the stuff that you already know. And I think that the reason why we end up in those situations is simply because we aren't consciously aware of the fact that we unconsciously change our posture and our tone of voice dependent on how we feel, how comfortable we feel in a given situation. And I'm asking you to become conscious of it so you can take control of it. Now, the next pillar of the 5 pillars is competence. And this is such a simple one because it goes back to those 2 scenarios I just pointed out. The guy who's a supervisor or a manager can very confidently and effectively lead his team, yet stumbles over his words when he's on a date with a woman he's attracted to. All it is experience at the end of the day. If that's you, let's say you're great in your professional life, but you're not so great in your intimate life or in your dating life, it's just experience, man. It's being willing to expose yourself to more experience as well as time goes by. You are already confidently doing things over and over again in your life. You already know how to do it. You already know what's going to happen next after you take a certain action, so you can confidently take that action because you're aware of the outcome. When it comes to, let's say, your dating life in this scenario, if you already knew how your partner, your potential partner, might respond if you said a certain thing, then you could confidently say or not say that thing. Instead, because you're unsure, you play it safe, and safe is kind of boring. Or you close up and shell up a little bit, get a bit nervous, stumble over your words, and now all of a sudden you're starting to give an impression that is not the attractive, confident man that you would like to come off as. So it's competence, it's practice. And everything is practicable, guys. Even the things that you wouldn't necessarily consider as a learnable skill, because no one sits you down and teaches you. Like, no one sits you down and teaches you how to be effective at dating necessarily. However, if that's something that you wanted to do, then you should go and learn that skill, because it is a teachable skill, just like mathematics is, and English and grammar and, being a builder, whatever it might be. Everything is teachable and learnable by you. It's just that a lot of the skills that we would really benefit in life, like the skill of confidence, because that is also a skill. It's also something that you can learn and improve upon through teaching and through study. That is not a subject that people sit us down and actually teach us about, despite the fact that it would absolutely transform our lives in a really positive way if people did do that. And, for the fathers listening to this right now, that is exactly what you should be doing with your kids. You should be sitting them down or taking them out to an activity and consciously teaching them how to be confident people. I mean, you might just sort of leave it to the environment to teach them confidence, but the chances of them hitting the target without specific training is much lower. If you want your kids to be confident, you need to actively decide that I want to help my kid become confident, and here are the actions I'm taking to make sure that that occurs. So same thing for your kids, guys. And that's another reason why confidence is so important. If you're a father and you want your kids to be confident and you're not confident, then who the fuck is going to teach them? You just have to hope and pray that they bump into someone one day that is capable of teaching them how to be confident and also gives enough of a fuck to do that. And no one is going to care a tenth as much as you do. So competence, absolutely important. Go out and get the experience. And I guess the scary thing, let's say we go back to the dating example again. The scary thing is that to get the experience, you need to risk being rejected. And look, that's part of life. It's part of life, man. So I'm actually going to jump one of these now that we're on that subject of rejection, because that is something that holds so many men back in so many areas. So I was going to talk about self-reputation next, but I'm going to jump to my fourth pillar and I'll come back to self-reputation. And that is let go of the result. Let go of the outcome. And I know that can be difficult because we get it in our heads that the outcome of this interaction is the be-all and end-all of my success in life. You know, if you're sitting across the table from a beautiful woman and you'd really like it to go somewhere, then in your head you're like, fuck, don't stuff this up, don't stuff this up, don't stuff this up. And because you're thinking like that, you're not taking chances, you're not being flirtatious, you're not being fun and excitable and interesting because you're just trying to not screw it up. You're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And only the people who play to win actually win. So we get it in our minds that this is make or break. If I don't get this thing right, the rest of my life is fucked. And that's so not true. It's so not true. I don't care what it is, whether it's a potential partner or whether it's a business deal or whether it's, you know, some once in a lifetime experience, whatever it might be. It's not once in a lifetime, boys. That beautiful woman sitting across from the table from you, she's one of thousands of beautiful women. And that's not to devalue beautiful women, but the point I'm saying is that if this doesn't work out, it's not over. There's so many more opportunities out there for you, man. And some of them might be even better for you. Who knows? But it's definitely not the only option you have. Be aware of those options, guys. And don't get so hung up on the result. You know, if you go into this date, let's say, and your attitude is, okay, you know, I'm going to meet this person, I'm going to see what they like, see if we have a good connection, and if it goes somewhere, great. If not, cool. If that was the mindset you went into it with, even if she was a 10 out of 10, and that's genuinely how you felt about it, you'd sit down there very relaxed, very calm, ask some questions, get to know each other a little bit, you know, because you're feeling relaxed and calm, you'd be cracking a few jokes here and there because you don't really give a shit if she has the same humor as you. You're making fun because it amuses you. And then because you're calm and relaxed and confident, all of a sudden she's actually like, you know what? I think I'll go on a second date with this guy. This guy's interesting. This guy's fun. This guy's not put off by the fact that I'm really pretty or anything like that. And now you're getting better results because you're going into it not really minding what happens. Let go of the result. And it doesn't matter what happens in this one moment in your life. I honestly don't think, except for like really crazy, like tragic moments in life, and even some of those things actually don't have to be the end of everything. A lot of those things be the start of something great as well. There's not really anything in life where it's one moment makes or breaks the whole thing. There's not really anything. Everything you can come back from. People have come back from some of the worst situations possible that you could imagine. People come back from it and go on to lead great lives afterwards. So you or I getting dumped or getting rejected or, you know, not getting the sale or, you know, missing out on this once in a lifetime experience actually isn't going to stop us from getting to where we want to get to. We just have to get that out of our heads. We've got to get that FOMO out of our heads. All right? There's not really anything you can miss out on for an entire lifetime unless you stop taking those opportunities to have those experiences. So as long as you keep trying, you'll get to where you want to get to. It's just a matter of time. So let go of the result, boys. Let go of the result. And I'm gonna come back to self-reputation again at the end, because this next one fits in actually better, and it ties in with self-reputation too. And the last one is care less about what other people think. You know, and this is a big one for me as well. This is something I really need to work on, because I would say that one of my biggest personality flaws is caring too much about what other people think of me. That's something that I have to be really consciously aware of, and being totally okay with someone not liking me, someone not liking my approach, the way I do things, the way I speak, what I stand for, whatever it might be. And I don't think anyone likes conflict and not being liked, or being argued with, or being insulted, or whatever it might be. You know, there's has to be something a little bit wrong in the brain if you're really into that, right? However, that is unavoidable in life if you're someone who's trying to do something of importance. If you're someone who's trying to create a life for themselves that's meaningful, it's simply not possible for you to get along with everyone. And if you're trying to do that, you're trying to please everyone, then you're ultimately going to end up alienating some of your own hopes and dreams. And you're going to let people walk all over your boundaries because you care too much about what they think. It's perfectly fine for someone to not like you. And it's also, and this is a big thing too, you might actually be wrong. The thing that has created this disharmony between yourself and someone else, it might actually be your fault. You might have said something out of turn. You might have held a belief that in retrospect, you look back on and go, you know what? I probably was wrong on that. Maybe I was a little bit too pushy. Maybe I was being offensive then. It's absolutely possible. You might actually be wrong. You might actually have deserved that hate. Totally possible. But here's something to remember. Firstly, if you're in that situation, you get the opportunity, apologize to that person. Even if they don't like you after that apology, even if it doesn't change anything, at the very least, just say, hey, look, you know what? I thought about what happened, and I'm really sorry, and I probably shouldn't have said that. And upon reflection, I think you had a good point. Only say that if you really mean it, by the way. You know, if you genuinely believe in what you believe in and it's just a clash of ideologies, don't worry about it. You're just not the same guy. It's okay. But even if you never get to say sorry to that person, or even if, let's say, you go on the date and you screw it up by saying something that was a bit uncouth, then, and she gets upset and she throws a drink in your face and walks away. Even if that happens, you know what? She's going to be okay. And so are you. And it's all fine. It's actually not a big deal. You know, just move on with your life. She'll be totally okay. She'll be over it in a week. She'll be on a date with some other guy. Who knows? And you'll be totally okay. You'll go home, dry yourself off, and try again. And you will have learned that in this particular scenario, that was not the right thing to say. And therefore, you now have experience, and you also recognize that, hey, you know, I got a drink thrown in my face. I said the wrong thing, but you know what? Actually, wasn't that bad. I was a little embarrassed at the time, I suppose, but looking back on it now, it's kind of funny. And now, all of a sudden, you're feeling more confident, and you don't mind, because you go, oh, cool, you know, maybe I hurt someone's feelings. If I see him again, I'll apologize. You know, if I don't, well, they're already over it, and so am I. Move on with your life. It's okay. People's feelings get hurt sometimes. You know, if you get, like I said, if you get the chance to apologize. You know, send them a text after the date and say, I'm so sorry. You know, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. And I hope that you forgive me, or I hope that it doesn't affect you moving forwards, whatever it might be, you know? So yeah, care less about what other people think, and just try to remember that if you find yourself caring a lot and it is affecting your ability to act confidently in a situation, then just remember that it's okay if that person isn't your friend. It's totally fine. They don't need to be your friend, and you don't need to be theirs, and that's completely and utterly acceptable. And it's just about you having the ability to think, speak, and act in the way that you believe is correct. The last thing I wanted to say here, I've jumped it a few times, probably should have ordered this a little bit better, is self-reputation. There's a post that I saw the other day, and I shared it because I really liked it, and it spoke about self-esteem. And the definition that this post gave was self-esteem is your reputation with yourself. People who have high self-esteem trust themselves. Now think about this. What allows you to trust somebody else? Think about someone in your life you really trust, someone you could speak to about anything, someone you could ask for help from. Why do you trust them? What is it about them that makes you trust them so much above everyone else? It's probably because in the past, you've had experiences with them that have shown you that they are a man or woman of their word. They routinely do the things that they say they're going to do. So if they tell you they're going to do something, you can predict the future, and in that future, they are going to carry out that thing that they said they were going to do. And that allows us all to feel very confident in that person, because we feel confident in what the future is going to hold if we deal with this human being, if we work alongside them. Now, the same has to happen for yourself. Do you trust yourself? So are you the kind of person who does the things that he says he's going to do? And that's what I mean about your reputation with yourself. Do you have a good self-reputation? Or are you the kind of person who says they're going to do things and then makes excuses at the last second? Because again, picture that other person in your life, the person that you trust the most, right? How would you feel about them if on a consistent basis, when you've asked them for help, or you've asked them to do something with you, they make an excuse and don't show up at the last second? If they kept doing that over and over again, that would destroy the trust that you had with them, wouldn't it? Would it not? Well, that's exactly what we do with ourselves. You've destroyed your own trust with yourself because you're not the kind of person who consistently shows up and does the shit that he says he's going to do. And because you don't trust yourself, you lack confidence in yourself. So you must have a good reputation with yourself. Like, I consider myself quite a high esteem individual because if I say I'm going to do something, then I'll do it. And so when an opportunity presents itself to me, and an opportunity that involves risk, maybe it's a big investment, maybe it's a lot of time and effort and energy, maybe there's a chance of rejection, because I have a good reputation with myself, because I'm the person who consistently tries at the very least to do the things I say I'm going to do, I feel confident about taking on that risk, about taking that chance, about making that investment, because I have all this evidence in my past that when I've done this, I have followed through. You know, so you might be a man watching this right now, and you've seen some of the stuff that we do, you've seen the training that we do, and you want to get fit. And you might have already thought about speaking to me, giving me a call and saying, hey, Mitch, I want to join the team. But you have all this evidence in your past of times when you've joined gyms and when you've joined boot camps or training groups, and the fucking alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning, you've got to be there at 6, and you've just hit snooze over and over again and never fucking rocked up. And because that is your evidence, that's the past, that's your reputation with yourself, you now no longer trust yourself enough to make another investment in yourself to actually change the thing in your life that you want to change, because you do not have confidence in your own ability to show up and do the shit that you said you were going to do. And that's what I mean by self-reputation. So if you don't have a good reputation with yourself right now, if you don't trust yourself, if you don't see yourself as a confident person or have confidence in your ability to follow through, then you need to change that. And start small. Start by saying, I'm going to do this little thing, this one little thing. I'm going to do 10 push-ups a morning. 10 push-ups. It's going to take you 15 to 20 seconds or 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I don't know how good you are at push-ups. But you're going to do 10 of them every morning. It's not going to take you very long. Start very, very small and start rebuilding your reputation with yourself. And have a little bit of sympathy for yourself as well. You know, at the end of the day, maybe you didn't have great role models growing up to help teach you this kind of stuff and to make sure that you realized how important it was to get your relationships and your health and your finances right in your life. So consequently, you know, you have all these bad habits in these areas and you don't have a good reputation with yourself. So look, have a bit of sympathy. It's okay. It's okay not to be as good as you want to be right now. It's okay to fail. But it's not okay to stop. It's not okay to quit. It's okay to fail. It's not okay to quit. That's what Unbreakable Man is all about. You can fail as many times as you fucking want. But do not stop. Do not stop. I respect a man that fails and tries again. It's hard to respect a man that quits. So, brother, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Those are the 5 pillars: body language, competence, and then we jumped one and went straight to letting go of the result, then caring less about what other people think, and finally self-reputation, which is really about how you feel about yourself. So, with that said, my friend, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Now, once again, if you are a man on the Gold Coast who's looking to improve his physical and his mental fitness, and who believes he would really blossom in a team environment and get a hell of a lot out of that, then the Unbreakable Man program is probably one of the best possible options that you could take right now. And if that is the case, that is something that you are interested in, then we are currently running a free 14-day trial of the group. And all you would need to do to take advantage of that is email me at mitch@unbreakableman.com.au and get in touch. We can have a chat and get you started. All right, with that said, brother, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you again on the next episode. Cheers. Hey, mate, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. If you did, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could leave us a 5-star review, because that's going to help us get our message in front of more men who need to hear it. Now, if you have some feedback for me, I'd love to hear that too. Comment down below. And if you just need some mini doses of Unbreakable Man motivation throughout your week, then you can follow us across all social platforms. On Facebook, it's Unbreakable Man Challenge. On Instagram, it's Unbreakable Man_challenge. And on TikTok and YouTube, it's just Unbreakable Man. Your support would be absolutely invaluable. Now, last but not least, do not forget, men aren't born, they're built.